Hey, Marcus, how you doing?
Hey, Dennis, I'm meeting.
Go for it.
Yep, you see me chewing.
Cool. Hey, Lucky, how are you today? Hey, Lucky, how are you? Hi, Lucky, how are you today? Hi, Lucky, how are you? Hey, Lucky, I can't hear you. You're muted. Your sound is muted.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay, that's great.
Prefer Lucky or Dr. Xue? How you pronounce your last name?
It's just yeah, you can just call me Lucky. My last name is kind of difficult. Xue. I'm trying to pull out my PowerPoint slides. Okay, so
let me make you co-host. Figure out how to do that. Let's see.
yeah, let me try to open the PowerPoint slides. How many people are we expecting to?
10.
10? Okay, that's good. That's pretty good sign. I didn't know we have this kind of association. I looked at your website. It looks great. So promoting the stuff.
We just started September 1st, and
Ah,
so it's a brand new thing. Let me see how I can. Okay, I can make you co-host, and that should give you the controls that allow you to use your PowerPoint and all that. Do you see them on your? You should be able to share
yeah,
screen.
I can share my screen.
Good. That's what I wanted to accomplish. So that's great.
So
Yeah. So we record these, and so about half the class shows up, and the other half watches it at night. So yeah. So that's working. I'm seeing the share. No problem.
okay. Can you see the PowerPoint slides now?
I can see it.
Okay, that's great.
Few more minutes, and then we'll get started. Can you Lucky, are you, this is off the subject, but are you familiar with Alibaba's 11/11 day or single day in
Yeah,
China?
you try to buy stuff.
Actually thinking about entering some of our companies into a competition to be chosen to participate next year.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, because they this year the foreign products are very popular, you know, because the COVID-19, they used to people travel to the US to buy products because of the COVID-19 and they cannot travel. So now they extend the single day sale event. It used to be just like starting, you can reserve stuff, then you start to purchase on November 11th. But now, since they have a lot of demand, they start to sell November 1st. So yesterday, my friend already started to purchase stuff. Yeah.
Promotion this summer where they had a pitch competition for small American businesses to to be admitted, to sell on single day. So they picked 10 companies out of 100 that applied, and they're small e-commerce businesses around the United States that are going to be able to participate in 11/11 Global and sell into the Chinese market. So it's very exciting, and I hope to be able to do that with some of our companies next year as well.
Yeah, that would be a great idea. And I saw some of the products, local products on the website, like the farm or some kind of customized gifts, all this art stuff. Looks like amazing.
We have a lot of things. I know so I've been talking to the executive who runs Alibaba in the United States. He's a friend of a friend, so I'm just getting to know him. But he said that cosmetics does particularly well in China. U.S. cosmetic companies, particularly if they're natural and clean and so forth.
Yeah,
That's very
East Lauder. So the company like sells lots of stuff in China, and they are more expensive. They can sell like more expensive price than in the US. So
L is also another one out of France that participates. But there's also in this news competition, and we'll go to our class. But in the new competition, 2 CPD companies from the U.S. were selected to sell hemp-based cosmetics, which I thought was fascinating. So we're going to see what we can do to get some of our companies access to Tmall Global, which I think would be the best place. Tmall requires that you have a physical location in China, but Tmall Global allows you to ship your products into China from the U.S.
yeah, now they have some kind of distribution center, like Amazon's distribution center. You can ship the stuff to those Tmall's distribution centers, and they will help you to ship when people order, I think.
So Taobao, I want to take a look at getting on Taobao as well, and possibly do some live streaming with some of our companies, which is something that 11/11.
Oh yeah, now they are very popular. They're doing this every day, and they have we call the popular star on the internet, and the people can sell like almost billions RMB stuff just like based on some popular. There's a man. He is very famous for selling all these lipsticks, you know. Yeah, yeah, it's a young man, but he's very good at selling all these lipsticks. So all these luxury lipstick companies are shipping the stuff to him, and he was like, this kind of stuff is like, it's too tender, it's too dark. And
Well, I'm studying it fast and furious and trying to figure out how we can play. So it'll be interesting. Well, I'm going to introduce you now. I can't see everybody. Hopefully, you all can hear me. So we're very lucky, literally lucky, to have Lucky today. Dr. Xue, is that how you pronounce it? I can't pronounce
yeah,
it. He'll let-
that's great. Thank you.
Uh,
Very
she
close.
is she is a professor here at ECU, and she is an expert on uh, AI, business intelligence, big data, all of the little terms that you hear all the time. She actually understands them, and what I'm hoping to do today is really just introduce everybody to the concept of big data, data lakes, AI, machine learning, etc., as it might apply to e-commerce and how you all might be able to take advantage of this. So with that, I feel lucky to introduce Lucky. There we go.
Thank you very much, Dennis. My name is Lucky Xue, and I think some of you may taken my like our department MIS courses before you graduate from ECU. And I have been at ECU for 12 years, so this is my 13th year at ECU, and right now I'm teaching data mining and intro to MIS courses, and also network classes. So today, since Dennis told me he wants you guys know some things like what kind of thing can be applied into the B2C business. So I'm going to talk about the AI and the BI in B2C businesses. So AI is artificial intelligence, the BI is business intelligence, and so let me get started. So the outline here is first I want to tell you what is AI versus what is BI. And actually, the concept of AI is just you are using the artificial intelligence, the human thinking stuff to help you to generate a knowledge to achieve your organizational goals. And for the business in BI, for the business intelligence, it's a little bit different from AI. AI is you have the technology similar to a human being's brain, but BI is based on the statistic or some big data analytics stuff. So it's more based on scientific logic rather than the human brain thinking behavior. But they are very popular, these two areas. And you have heard a lot of usage of this, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of AI and BI. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about their usage in the B2C business and the limitation, the challenges. So first, as I just said, AI versus BI. AI is intelligent demonstrated by machines. So you probably have heard about the AlphaGo stuff, right? So we are going to talk about that later. And the BI is a technology that is gather, store, and access, analyze the data to help business to make better decisions, achieve their organizational goals. So why AI and the BI are so popular, and what are the driving factors of these two phenomena here? So the first thing is big data. We have more and more data. We have lots of devices can collect the data now, so we have tons of data available. The second thing is where the statisticians, big data persons, analytics persons are building different kind of learning algorithms. So for example, you probably have heard about TikTok. Like some of you, a lot of young people in the US are using TikTok. And why TikTok is so popular? Because TikTok has generated certain kind of algorithm to attract the young users. So when you use one particular, when you look at one particular video or clip, then it will automatically recommend you something. So these are some kind of machine learning algorithms the computer scientists created based on the data analytics. And also, the last main driven factor for the AI, the BI, is the computer power. So computing power is more and more powerful, and we have the supercomputer. We have all these computer clusters, cloud computing. You have heard about Amazon, AWS, right? IBM, cloud computing, and also Microsoft, Google all have the cloud computing capabilities for you to use. So there are a lot of computer power stuff there. And for the AI success stories we have heard, as I mentioned, it started from the original the AI was like when they applied AI in the IBM Watson context, right? So the first time the machine beat human brain, and then they start to have the AlphaGo builder try to let the computer play the supposed to be the most complicated game, Weiqi, like Chinese kind of chess, and it's very complicated. And but scientists used algorithms to create AlphaGo and beat the international champion. So, and also besides the AlphaGo, they have used the AlphaGo Zero. The difference between AlphaGo Zero and AlphaGo is they already put some kind of match techniques in the machine. Then the AlphaGo start to compete with the humans. But for the AlphaGo Zero, they don't. The scientists didn't put anything in the AlphaGo stuff. It just let the AlphaGo learn by itself. So once AlphaGo played hundreds of games, it gained the power to beat the human in the games. So it's a little bit about the history of AI. And as there's some citation here, so over the course of millions of AlphaGo games, then they are the system progressively learn the game and go from scratch. So they are learning from scratch for the AlphaGo Zero. Then they can accumulate thousands of years of human knowledge during a period of just a few days. It sounds kind of scary, right? Looks like, okay, well, it seems like actually probably one day we don't need to study. Like Elon Musk said, we can probably put a chip in our brain, then can control our brain and can generate knowledge to our brain and to do all these things. So, well, just in the future, probably not in our lifetime. And then the next thing is, can machine be creative? Okay, so actually people have doubted about the computer's powers. Okay, they say, okay, computers maybe can do some analytics works, do some regular jobs, but they cannot replace the human brain for something like creative jobs like poem writing and song composing and painting. So actually it's not. So there are a lot of poems written by the computer machine now. And also look at this clip here. This is Oh, okay, I'm sorry. If you listen to this clip here, this is a song created by the computer. So it's not composed by any human being. It's composed by the computer. So okay, and you can see. Okay, so actually, computers are smart, right? So they can, no matter if you like it or not, it can create sounds, compose sounds for you. And then also, here I have okay, behind this one you see a portrait, right? A portrait, a painting here. So this is a painting is also created by a machine. So the machine painted the painting. And do you know do you think anybody wants to buy this kind of painting? And look at this painting. Can you guess anyone wanted it and how much they are willing to pay this for computer created painting?
I'll give him a couple bucks.
Oh gosh. Actually this painting was sold in New York at Action in 2018, and the price is $432,000.
Oh my goodness.
So
Wow.
almost $500,000 was
Wow.
spent on this painting. So
Yeah.
look
Wow.
at.
Hey, Lucky, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
This is Pete Seymour from Shift Auto. And I guess I'm just trying to, I always thought AI and BI were synonymous. And so, for example, in our company, we are collecting data on in a service technician repairing cars. And so as they repair these cars and they do different services, say they change their tires and then they change the oil and then they change the transmission fluid, we're trying to use AI to figure out the order in which they should be done to save the most time for the technicians over time. So I don't know. I mean, how would that fall under AI? Because it's, I mean, we're looking at the data and we're letting people decide.
If you want to create a system that can learn or generate knowledge, that kind of system is called AI. If you are just using the system to find the best time for scheduling or doing all these things, that system can categorize as BI, business intelligence.
Okay. And
Yeah.
when we're selling this product, not a lot of people, I think, understand or know the BI. It's not a very big buzzword right now. Where AI is a huge buzzword, and you say, "Hey, I'm using AI to do this," like, "Ooh," you know. And so, I mean, so are they pretty synonymous or no? Not really.
Actually, I think AI is more broader.
Okay.
Because AI, one thing is because AI has its own algorithm, learning algorithm. So it's very difficult to achieve the level as the human brain thinking. So right now for the business school students, they are most started at BI, business intelligence work. So then once they achieve the knowledge of BI, then they can move up to the AI, to the self-learning capability level.
Okay, so BI is a subset of AI, but typically
Yeah, it's kind of like that. So it's kind of low level of AI.
Okay,
it's just, it just cannot learn, and it based on the data analytics stuff. So for AI, it's very difficult to explain it, you know. But for BI, we can learn and to do things.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So we looked at, okay, gosh, the machine can be very creative, can build this, right, create so expensive paintings.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at. So as I said, the AI is kind of hard to describe it because it has algorithm built based on the human brain thinking. So we start from the basics here, talk about the BI stuff here first. For the BI, and a lot of there are a lot of usage of BI in the B2C businesses. I categorize. I found two categorize may be interested to our group. One is it can be used to customize advertising and marketing, targeting those customers to recommend the potential products, services. And the other category is can improve the current product service via the customer feedbacks. So for the first category, I think most of you have heard about the story of Target diaper and beer story, right? So they based on the Target sales data, they found out if a man who at night goes to the Target very quickly buy a diaper, and usually on the way he is going out of the grocery store, he will grab a box of beer, because usually a man was doing this kind of quick shopping. So they put the diaper and the beer together to promote the certain products. And also for the Amazon, they have all these customized recommendation system. When you buy certain things, it will pop out stuff. And for the book recommendation, same thing. And also I think you probably noticed when you go to Barnes Noble's purchase book, they print out the receipt at the bottom to usually say, okay, you may be interested in these books. So these are based on the analytics, big data analytics. So they use the data, customer data, and find out what kind of things can sell together, and they found out what kind of product people are like, similar product they like. And also BI can be used to improve the current product service with the custom feedback. We have lots of social media now, right? Social media stuff. And for the new products, a lot of companies are using the social media feedback, custom feedback to improve their new products. For example, Nike and Apple, they always, before they launch their their products to the public, they will put their idea on the social media website to look for the feedback. And then they will use one kind of analysis, we call it sentiment analysis, to look at the feedback of the potential customers. And then if they get the positive or negative, and we have some kind of statistical analytics tools to can analyze that, and they can generate the report for the company, whether you want to promote this product to the public, or you need to modify certain stuff before launching. Okay, for the sentiment analysis, this is it's kind of also known as opinion mining or emotion AI. So you see, like it's not just the BI stuff; it's also AI. So they cannot separate totally; they are integrated. It's just the BI is more easy to learn than AI. And more easy to explain it. And they use for the sentiment analysis that refers to use of natural language processing, text analytics. So we will use, we have different statistics tools like SAS, Python, R. We can use this kind of statistical tools to do the text mining analysis, sentiment analysis. So, and as I said, BI analytics is try to use analytics and the computer technologies to make business decisions. So it can discover unknowns in data. It can obtain the actionable insights, and it can also communicate business data stories. So the scope of the analytics, we can do is we have 3 different levels of analytics. We can do the descriptive analytics, so we can describe things, what happened. So, and also we can do some predictive analysis. We can do some modeling to predict, to forecast. But sometimes the forecast model is not always the correct. Like scientists spend tons of time try to create the predictive model for the COVID-19 cases, right? Not successful. Actually, almost nobody was successfully predicted the second wave, all these things for the COVID-19 cases. So although people claim, they said they can do this kind of analytics job for the predictive analytics, but it's hard. It's very difficult. Then the third level of business analytics is prescriptive. So you're not only predict, you are generating some guidelines for the optimal decisions. So you will tell the organizational leaders what to do based on your analysis. Okay, as I said, we have 3 different levels. Descriptive is just to use data to understand the past and the present, to summarize it, the meaning of the report. Then we have the predictive, to analyze past in effort to predict the future. And sometimes it's very difficult. As I said, the COVID-19 is one example. Another example is I teach data mining classes, and I had one group of students try to predict the Bitcoin price. So they gathered lots of data, then they try to predict the Bitcoin price, and none of them were successful to do that. So it's a very tough job sometimes. The last thing is the last level is a prescriptive analysis. So we can use optimized technology to identify the best alternative to minimize and maximum some objectives. So, for example, what is the best way of shipping goods from our factory to minimize the cost? So you need to do the analytics work based on the current job, then tell the organizational leader what to do. So this is the third level of things. Some examples we can do is retail markdown decisions. Okay, so sometimes companies want to clear their inventory, reducing price. So we can do some analytics to do what kind of price, how much to meet their inventory goals, and all these things. And also when we do the analytics big data stuff, we have 2 different kind of learnings. One is supervised learning, one is unsupervised learning. So here we can take a look. Sometimes when you ask the computer to do the job to categorize things, you are not telling them what kind of rule you need to follow. You just let the computer to categorize it. So if we look at the PowerPoint slides here, we have some objects here, right? If you tell the computer and just categorize it, you have different ways to categorize it because it's unsupervised learning. So you can categorize the qubit versus a ball, or you can categorize the fruit versus non-fruit. You have different ways to categorize it, right? So this is kind of unsupervised learning. You let the computer do it by yourself. Then there's another way is supervised learning. So you will tell the computer what kind of target you want to do. You want to predict the housing prices next year's house price. So you have a goal. And then you will need to use different kind of techniques here. So we can use neural network, decision tree model, regression, ensembling, feature engineering, all these models to analyze the data to predict next year's housing price. There are some limitations of AI and BI. So for AI, it's very difficult to explain it. So if people ask you why you told the stuff you told me is correct, so it's very difficult to explain it. And also there's a data requirement. You want to have useful data, adequate data, but you don't want too much data, right? You want sometimes if you do too much data, garbage in, garbage out. So, and also you want the transferability. So the transferability of AI BI sometimes is difficult. If we want to transfer one analytics results to another company because the context has been changed, things have been changed, so it's not that easy. And at ECU, we do have a certificate, graduate certificate course in business analytics. So if some of you are interested in learning more about this, you can take the graduate certificate classes. There are 4 courses, and once you complete 4 courses, you get a graduate certificate on business analytics. That's about the brief introduction of AI BI. Do you have any questions?
Lucky, very, very interesting. I appreciate it. Is there any service or tool available, for example, that our companies could access to use in their own individual situation if they wanted to explore some of this capability?
Yeah, lots of there are lots of open source tools you can use, Python, but you need to have someone can know how to use them, you know.
Okay.
And also for if like people use for academic or nonprofit usage of this, ECU has a lot of because SAS is in North Carolina, right? SAS is in Raleigh, so SAS provide all these analytics. SAS is one of the biggest analytics company. SAS provide all these analytics tools to ECU students for free. So you can just use their tools. They have a lot of very smart tools, and you can use it. Yeah.
So maybe it's something that that we could explore getting some interns to work with us in the future and make that capability available to the participating companies in some way.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
I think that's great because I have a lot of students in my data mining class. They are very talented, and also I have a capstone project for students to work on, and some of them cannot find very good data and a good project, they have to use the public data to do the project. So if some of the companies in your list are interested in, you can just give the project, give the data to me, and I can give it, assign it to the students. They can
Oh,
as
fantastic.
yeah, they can do it as a term capstone project. So it's beneficial for both the company and the students, right? Students can use the real world data and generate something useful, and the company can just ask the student to do the work. And
Okay.
actually, yeah, actually NC State University, they uh, their data science program is probably one of the first in the US, and also SAS good Dr. Goodnight, the SAS CEO, is from NC State University, right? So
Yeah.
they gave NC State University student a lot of benefits, and so NCSU student you usually have the chance to work with Nike, work with like NBA, all these companies to help them to analyze the data. So like,
Okay.
yeah, I know they work for the Nike to analyze their product, and they even had one NBA players joined their program to learn analytics.
Wow. Wow. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
Could you do me a favor, Lucky, and
Uh-huh.
unshare your screen so that I can see the class? I can only see your slide. That'd be helpful.
This one.
Hey, Lucky, I have a couple questions.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, go ahead with the questions. I just can't see anybody.
So with the business analysis analytics classes, are they teaching you how to identify a subset of data and then the different aspects or different ways to analyze those data sets against each other? Are they actually going into databases? Are you writing stored procedures? Are you writing algorithms? How does that actually work when you go ahead? So if we have a set of data that we want to discover some outcome and we know specifically what we want, and maybe there's some things we're not sure what we can use it for.
For my students' capstone product, I usually ask them to select a specific interest of their own interest. So they will look at, okay, I'm interested in sounds or listening sounds. So they will go to the web or the web to look at the Spotify. They have the custom data, so they will download the data from Spotify. Then try to find the things to predict the top 10 songs next week or something like that. So it does not necessary to have a certain kind of objects you define. The student will define their object. You just tell them the objective of this project is you ask the student to look at it, to search for data, to identify the problem. And we have a systematic procedure of running the analytics. So we will clean the data, ask the student to clean the data first, because the data, sometimes the company's data are very messy. So clean the data and then do the data partition, separate data, try to identify what kind of goals or objectives are you trying to achieve. Are you trying to predict the housing price, predict the credit card, are you going to accept or not accept? So you need to define. So the project for my students are supervised analytics. They have certain kind of goal. But what you said is you don't know what kind of goal you want to achieve. You just have data.
Well, we have a goal, but
Okay.
with so much data, we want to discover whether there's goals that we're not thinking of, like, different ways that we could apply that data to discover something that would even save them more time that we hadn't thought about, like, time to drive to the service bay or whatever. But so are the students actually using their own brains to kind of mimic AI, looking through a normal?
No. They are using the tools, SAS tools.
Okay.
The SAS has a very robust tool called enterprise mining. So the enterprise mining tool can analyze the data for you.
Okay. I think SAS is
So-
out. Yeah. Okay. So they're not writing their own. They're using tools, feeding data into it.
Yes.
This is what I expect. Let's see what happens and get the results. Okay.
Yes. No, the student don't have the capability to generate all these algorithms. It's a very difficult task. It's a very difficult task. So yeah, SAS already has built up all these tools.
Okay.
So they have built up the algorithm to do the neural network analysis, to do the decision tree analysis, to do the regression analysis. So the students just need to put the data in and clean the data and run the procedures, the step-by-step procedures.
Okay.
Then the tool, the enterprise miner or SAS Via will generate the results for the students.
Okay. So they normalize the data, enter it in, get the results, see if it's what they expected, and then. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. They have the tools, and the SAS tools are very powerful.
Yeah.
So they have very powerful algorithm building their software.
Yeah, one of the things, Lucky, that the students have, not students, our class members have, is many of them use Shopify as their e-commerce tool, and Shopify has quite a bit of data that they make available on the back end, as I understand it, to our companies. So they do have data from their own case, and in some cases, there's not a tremendous amount of data, and others there's more data. But I think that the live real world data, I think our companies have that, at least from their Shopify instances. So that's one thing that we can keep in mind.
Yeah. There's some data, lots of public data available. Sometimes my students will just try to do the easy way, because if they download data from the public website, the data usually clean, much cleaner than the data from the organizations. So I always recommend the student to use the organization, the real organization's data, because I encourage them to do that. But sometimes the student just try to just download some data available already in the Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah. Well, what we'll do is, and now that we've met you and understand what's going on with data, I think we'll work with you and your department to figure out if we can get an intern or two to work on this project for our companies, because I think it would be most helpful to them.
Yeah, I think for the small project, you can just ask my student to do as a course capstone project.
Okay.
But if you are going to do a complicated project, probably you will need to pay.
No,
For the small one, for the small ones, I think my student, I can ask my student to do it. And for the North Carolina State University, NCSU, what they do is they help those organizations to do their project, but they are not charging the organization. For example, they do the project for Nike. Then the treat out of the project is the Nike will invite those students to to the Nike company headquarters
Yeah.
to pay the
Yeah.
trip and present the results to the Nike
Got it.
company.
Well, we
So-
could do that here. We could invite your students to, you know, to the Miller School, and we'll buy them a hot dog.
Yeah, you as a company can, you can ask my student to do for free, then just invite them to your company to probably have a lunch or something to present
Yeah.
the work.
Okay.
It can be beneficial for both sides.
No, absolutely.
Do any of
Well,
the stu-
this.
do any of the
Go
students
ahead.
do any of the students also are in information technology or computer science, where they're actually building neural networks based on this kind of information, or is it or not really yet?
My students are not capable of building those algorithms yet. So
Okay.
if like they can only use the available tools,
Okay.
the Python
Yeah, right.
and SAS tools.
Okay. So none of the Java libraries, none of the Tweeties or the Wikas or the Rapid Miners, that would be later on in their career, I guess, if they're
Yes, because this is it's not a degree program, it's just a certificate program.
I got you.
There's
Okay.
only 4 courses. So if you want some student to be able to create the algorithms, generate the algorithm, then they need to spend lots of time, not
Yeah,
just the 4 classes.
Yeah, I got you.
Mhm.
Fascinating. It's fascinating. I mean, it's really
Yeah.
great. What's the world it's going to come into? I mean, all this data, it's sitting there. So it's just waiting to be used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Lucky, we are lucky to have you today. There's no two ways about it. Are there any other questions from the class at this point?
Yeah. So if you have
Okay.
any question or your company wants to meet, I'm teaching next semester again. So just to
Okay.
prepare your data, prepare your stuff. Tell me at the beginning of the class, and I can ask my student to do it for you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Lucky, for your very fascinating presentation and your good sense of humor. We like that. We think that's great. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
all right, thank you. And
Okay, thank you.
all right,
Take care.
see everyone
Bye.
tomorrow.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.